There are demons lurking in the stock market. There are things in the stock market happening right now that present significant risk factors for those of you that like your volatile tech stocks, that like your electric vehicle companies, that like your growth companies that have made you so much money in the year 2020. And I'm going to talk about some of these demons and also give you an overview of what I'm seeing in the stock market. We're going to get started. Hit the thumbs up button, get comfortable. We're going to begin on the Black Financial Channel right now. Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. The demons in the stock market. What do I mean by that when I use that title? I'm not trying to be deliberately sneaky with the title, but the truth of the matter is that there are some demons, and the big demon right now is inflation. The inflation conversation has continued for the last week and a half. Today, Fed Chairman Jerome Powell is going to give an address, and he's going to talk about a lot of things, but he's probably going to address this inflationary risk that people are feeling now that the stimulus package has passed, and you have this pent up demand coming out. We're not in the height of the pandemic anymore. Economies are starting to reopen. You saw Texas is wide open now. Texas, pretty much the governor said no mask, no nothing, just live your life. Mississippi is doing the same thing, and we know the pandemic got real political. But to be quite honest with you, I'm okay with that to some extent too. Just keep your immune system up, wash your hands, wear a mask if you want to, social distance if you want to, but live your life. Don't let people have you locked up in the house, for the rest of your life. And I don't know if that's a way to live, but the dark side of that, is that, or the complex side of that, how about that, is that as the economy is taking off and as they're opening things wide open, what it's doing now is you're shifting back to a little bit of the old world now. Now, all the things that were the superstars before are no longer the superstars. You're playing a different game. Speaking of games, like this morning, I was on my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/Dr. Boyce Watkins, and I was playing Call of Duty. And I do Call of Duty, and I talk about stocks with the people that are watching. And here's what. So sometimes when you're playing the game, you get into a situation where you need a really good sniper because you got to start killing your enemies from a distance. So in that moment, when you are playing at a distance, the sniper becomes the star of the team. They're the most important person in the show. But then suddenly the game may change. And suddenly, instead of sniping people from a distance, you're fighting them from, 6 inches, 2 feet away. Well, if you're fighting them up close, a sniper weapon is the worst weapon in the world to have. You need something like a knife. You need a machine gun. You need things that you can kill people up close with. Well, why do I use that stupid analogy? To other than in my effort to remind you of how ridiculously immature I am. Maturity is overrated, by the way. I gave up being a grown up a long time ago. The point of this story is to say that the stock market's the same way. That basically, when you went into the pandemic, the world went into survival mode. Doing things outside was a no-no. Doing things with other people in the vicinity was a no-no. Doing things in the office was a no-no. There was no advantage anymore to anybody who had the fancy corporate office in New York. That became a liability. The advantages, the superpowers, were for the people that could make money from a distance, the people that knew how to run the technology and scale and had the programming infrastructure. Most importantly, companies like Zoom literally made billions and billions of dollars because suddenly everybody needed Zoom because that was pretty much the way the world worked. The tech companies had more power than ever. Well, now we're shifting back. Now Zoom is not going to have the power that it had before. Now, the people like me who work from home, who were working from home before the pandemic, my life didn't change during the pandemic. I worked from home in 2018, 2019, 2020, 2021. But there's gonna be a lot more happening outside of the home now. People are going to start going to work every day. People are going to start going to the office again. Money's going to be made in a lot of different ways. And so, as this occurs, what's going to probably happen is that a lot of your companies that blew up during the pandemic are not going to blow up anymore. I'm thinking about companies, particularly like a Zoom, or I don't know. I think I had stock in I don't know if it's a company called DocuSign or whatever it's where they do the digital signatures. I said I'm not messing with that anymore because I don't see that company going up further than the valuation that it already has. I also thought about SPACs in particular. SPACs, special purpose acquisition companies. These are blank check companies that go around acquiring these these tech startups. And what's happened with SPACs that's been really interesting is that SPACs are overvaluing companies. They're paying insane, ridiculous, just sick amounts of money for these companies, participating directly in the irrational exuberance that has become the stock market during the pandemic, and now it's starting to bite them in the butt. Now a lot of these, tech startups are getting body slammed when the interest rates are changing. The S&P 500, the solid, companies with a solid core, are starting to reemerge. The what do you call it? The recovery plays, casinos, cruise lines, air, airlines, etc., are starting to take off again because now their world is coming back to normal. Now that hotel chain, those AMC theaters or whatever it is, they're not all boarded up and shut down because everybody's staying at home. Now people are back to living life. So my point is to say that if you are a person who has made a ton of money off companies like, I don't know, Workhorse, which I think Workhorse dropped by 50% recently, or Tilray, which was pump and dump basically by the Reddit guys, pushed up all the way to 72. Now it's trading about 25, 26. What's another company? There are a few others. There's some pharmaceutical companies. You're probably taking a bath right now in those stocks. Now, if you're smart though, you were not just invested in those companies. You had your money spread out. Give me a yes or no if you can hear me. I want to make sure you guys can hear me okay because I'm talking. I'm just sort of sharing a stream of consciousness on this. And so, by the way, there's my Twitch channel if you're into gaming, and I have an Instagram page, the Black Stock Market Gamer. So if you're into stocks or gaming or both, then or you want to learn more about gaming, just feel free. I mean, it's just something I'm exploring with my kids, my son and my daughter. We play Call of Duty together, and then it gives us a great chance to bond and talk about the stock market and everything else. So it's kind of fun. So feel free to follow there. But so right now, a lot of these tech companies, these high flying tech companies that you were making a killing from earlier in 2020, you may not be making that much money now. Now, here's where you had to be smart. This is where, when I'm always giving you cautionary tales and warning you that, this too shall pass, that everything that comes into your pocket can also go out. Everything that goes up can come down. Well, this is one of those moments if you're in those tech companies, if you're in these sort of high flying tech companies, or you've been doing what the Reddit guys have been doing, like buying all these stock options every week and thinking you're an investor because you're day trading and buying stock options and you're buying options in the riskiest companies, you're probably taking a little bit of a bath. You're losing a lot of the money that you made all through last year. That's why it's very important to not just invest with one style. That's what I'm getting at. You want to have your safe portfolios and you want to have your riskier portfolios. Like, or if you like crypto, that's fine. Dabble in crypto, but you want to have a bunch of other things going on so that in case crypto goes crazy, you're going to be okay, right? Because a big part of wealth is not just making money; it's keeping the money that you make. So just sort of keep that in mind. Do I think Workhorse is going to come back? I like Workhorse. I'm still an owner in Workhorse, but I want to make it clear why I bought Workhorse in the beginning. The reason I've always owned Workhorse is because of the options. I never bought Workhorse expecting Workhorse to blow up and make me a ton of money. That was a bonus. I never bought Workhorse thinking Workhorse was going to be this company that was going to just keep increasing in value. I didn't want to speculate. I don't like to gamble. I bought Workhorse because I liked the price of the options. The options were really expensive, and I said if this stock stays stable for 6 months, and I can sell options on this stock every single week for 6 months, well, by the time the stock crashes, if it ever crashes, I will have made so much money from the options that I won't be so concerned. Well, guess what? Workhorse crashed. The reason Workhorse crashed was because they didn't get that contract with the postal service that was already factored into the price. Everybody thought they were going to get that contract. They didn't get it. So now Workhorse instantly goes from $30 a share to about 14 or 15 a share. Now, do I like Workhorse? Yeah, I still like it. I still make money from it. The same way a landlord can still make money renting his apartment buildings, even if the value of the property drops. If the rent doesn't change that much, he can still have cash flow. So I bought Workhorse for cash flow from the options market, from selling options. I did not buy Workhorse for speculative purposes. Okay. So do I think it could come back? I don't know if it can come all the way back to 30, but I think Workhorse is still a solid company. I think it still has potential, and it's still part of my diversified portfolio of electric vehicle companies that I put my money into, because we know electric vehicles are coming. We just don't know who the winners are going to be. And so, by the way, some of you are asking about stock options. There's my masterclass link. If you want to go take a look at my stock options masterclass and learn more about how options work and how to buy and sell and use them in a multitude of ways, feel free to sign up. I don't believe in just sort of teaching you how to buy options. I could show you how to do that in 30 seconds. Really, it's about understanding the nuances of how options work so you can use them in a bunch of different ways. It's like a chef learning how to use a knife. A chef can do a lot of things with a knife that a regular person can't do, but anybody can use a knife, right? But just because you can use a knife doesn't make you a chef, right? So just make sure you learn all the different ways options can be used, not just for gambling. And that's pretty much what Reddit users do with their options. I'm a long-term investor. I'm holding, since Tiffany. Good for you. Can you check out ATWT? Yeah, I'll look it up. I can't look it up now because I got to take a shower and get ready for a meeting. But I will look it up. I don't know much about the company, Shannon. All right. So anyway, so that's what I'm seeing right now. The conversation with Jerome Powell, the Fed chairman, is going to be a big deal, because Powell is basically going to tell the world how he plans to respond to inflationary concerns that people are having. People are scared to death about what the Fed is going to do over this risk of inflation. That's pretty much the thing that everybody's taunting with him about. And and he's pretty much saying that he's not worried about inflation, but a lot of people are. And the reason that your tech stocks, your workhorse type companies, or your SPACs, which I told you guys, I've always felt fat. I've never bought into SPACs because they were overpriced. SPAC Facts are being murdered. So just be careful, be thoughtful about what you do and where you put your money. And should we do calls on Workhorse? I don't buy the calls on Workhorse, but I do sell them. So yeah, Rob, I sell calls on Workhorse. All right, so I'm gonna get out of here. I'll check back in a little bit later, especially after Powell gives his speech, and you'll see an instant market reaction to his speech based on the words he used. And so if you could please hit the thumbs up button, share button, and subscribe button. And also, by the way, some of you are asking about the Black Experts Weekend. That's an event that's hosted by the Black Business School. So if you're a person that wants to learn how to make money from your mind and what you do and your skill set, maybe you're a social worker, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you're a lawyer, maybe you're a doctor, maybe you are a person who knows how to be a great mom or whatever. There are lots of people that make money from their skill. And also, there's a lot of money being made through public speaking, which will obviously pick back up after COVID. Al Duncan has made millions of dollars as a speaker. So if you're interested in learning money, making money as a speaker, or teaching an online class, or whatever the case may be, just come to Black Experts Weekend. It's totally free. It's hosted by the Black Business School, and it's going to be really good. So the URL is right there on the screen if you want to go take a look. All right, so I'm out of here, guys. Please have a good day, and it's great talking.